Saturday's Republican debate was a real bloodfest. I mean, you expected there to be blood on the floor when it was over. To me, the highlight of the debate was when Donald Trump, very risky move in attacking George W. Bush, not over Iraq, which would be okay, not over the deficit, which would be okay, or the economy or Wall Street, but over 9/11. I mean, that's like attacking Sir Galahad for rescuing Guinevere. I mean, the Bush presidency is defined by 9/11. And when Trump essentially blamed 9/11 on Bush and said that he could have gotten bin Laden sooner, he really, I think, took his life in his hands. Now, Donald Trump lives with his life in his hands. And every time he says something that you assume would knock him out of the race, it doesn't. So it's hard to figure out what's going to happen with Trump's comment. The early polling suggests that Trump probably lost the debate, and that that's how voters feel about it. But whether that costs him a lead in terms of votes is going to be hard to tell. Also involved was a real skirmish between Rubio and Cruz. And what's happening here is that you sort of have two negatives. On Rubio, the negative is that he's not ready to be president, that he's too young, that he's too callow, somewhat naive, and that Schumer played him on the immigration issue, the amnesty issue. And with Cruz, the doubts about him as a result of the episode with Carson and his campaign, and the question of, is this very articulate, very cogent, very well-spoken senator in fact playing fast and loose with the truth and sometimes flipping and flopping on issues. Both serious charges that could stay with them for a long time and ultimately undermine their capacity of either one of them to defeat Trump. Bush, in the meantime, seems to have gained by being strong enough in standing up to Trump's attack. But on the other hand, he has so many negatives because of his lackluster early campaign and a sense that he just isn't up to what his brother or his father was able to do. Kasich enjoyed a good night. Very few people attacked him. But the problem with Kasich is he is very, very liberal for a Republican primary. He does not support deportations. He does overtly support amnesty for illegal immigrants. He would not tear up the Iran deal on day one. He says he would build upon it and try to improve it. Fat chance of that. He's in favor of giving the president the fast-track authority on trade. He supports the TPP trade deal, which is, I think, a terrible trade deal. And above all, he expanded Obamacare in Ohio so that everybody got on Medicaid. You know, ultimately, this issue as to whether we expand Medicaid in the way Obamacare directed is really a key issue about education, because basically the state funds health care and education. And about 15 years ago, they were about even. Now health care is getting 4 times as much as education. And with the Medicaid expansion, it'll be 5 and 6 times as much. And all the money that could go to better schools will go to health care, which is not, I think, a very wise allocation of resources for the future. So South Carolina is going to be a very important primary in deciding what's going on. If Trump survives the negatives that he gave himself in South Carolina, he could go all the way and be the nominee. As to Kasich, Bush, Rubio, and Cruz, with all the barbs flowing back and forth, the winner will be, as Adlai Stevenson once said, the last survivor. It's kind of frustrating to have to deal with all this in just the few minutes that I try to keep these launch alerts down to. So I do a podcast every week. I did one yesterday about my detailed analysis of what's going on in both party primaries. So click on the link that joins this video, or go to dickmorris.com or iTunes or podcast1.com. Thanks for watching and listening.